This video is going to show you how to set up a system where you inform important stakeholders about students' detention status. So let's say that detentions run from 3 to 4 p.m. each day, and the school wants to notify the parents of these students at 2 p.m. that their student has detention in an hour, and that the school wants to notify advisors and parents about whether a student has skipped detention, and last, that they want to add to the weekly report whether a student has skipped detention. So there's a lot going on here, so we'll go one by one. First, let's say that we want to alert parents that the student has detention. So I'm going to go to Admin, Consequences, and Lists. I'm going to go to the detention list. I'm going to click on Workflows. So the first thing I'm going to do is send that parent message. The parent message has to be created before you create the workflow, which you can do in the Messaging Center. So the first thing I'm going to do is go click Add New Workflow. I'm going to select Messaging, Send Parent Message. And I'm going to select the email titled Detention Notice. I had to make this beforehand. I'll go and click Create Workflow. Now I'm going to schedule that cron job Monday through Friday, so every day. And we said at 2 p.m. We'll click Schedule Job. So first we need to double check, are kids even on this list? Let's see. Okay, there are some students on this list. Okay, great. So if we go back to the detention list, right now it's set up so that parents are alerted at 2 p.m. That means that any student who's assigned detention after 2 p.m. won't have their parents alerted. So maybe we might want to change this criteria so that this list includes anyone who is assigned detention yesterday after 2 p.m. and up to today until 2 p.m. so that every student's parents get an alert. So I'm going to say this one was for today at 2 p.m. since the delay day is 0. And then I'm going to create the exact same step, except I'm going to make it for yesterday with a delay day of 1. And again, I want automatic detention. I want this to be submitted after 2 p.m. Great, so we've covered our bases. So now every parent of the student on this list is going to receive this detention notice email at 2 p.m. The next thing that I want to do is I want to mark any student who is skipped, and I want to alert the parent. The way that's going to work is I'm going to go to Reports and Data, Detention, and I want to make it so that I can actually clear students. So to do that, I go back to the list, and I'm going to allow clearing. So I click Yes. And if I go again back to the list, here I can now clear students who have attended detention. So I can clear Juan and Sarah and Samantha. Great, so this is all set up. Then what I can do is I can go back to Admin, Consequences, and Lists, Detention, Workflows, and I can send an email to parents of the students who are left on the list. So everyone who is not cleared did not serve. So again, I'm going to click Add New Workflow, Send Parent Message, and this time I'm going to send the skip detention email. Detention runs from 3 to 4 p.m., so I should send this email after 4 p.m. So I'm going to go to Schedule Cron Job, Monday through Friday, and let's send it at a few minutes past 4. Schedule. So now parents have been alerted that their student has detention today and whether their student skipped today. The next thing I want to do is I want to add that behavior so that it shows up on the weekly report. So I'm going to go ahead and sign the behavior, and then I'm going to sign the skip detention behavior and click Create Workflow. Again, I want this to be assigned after 4 p.m., so I'm going to say Monday through Friday, 4 p.m., and let's say 4:09. Schedule. So now all these students have now been assigned that skip detention behavior so that that behavior can be pulled onto the weekly reports. The second to last thing that I want to do is alert advisors. I can either alert advisors from this list, although the title will just say detention and won't say skip detention. So another thing I could do is I could use this behavior to pull onto another list. So right here, I'm now pulling that skip detention behavior, and I've assigned that workflow after we've assigned that behavior. So the behavior was assigned at 4:09. This email will go to all advisory teachers at 4:15. And it'll say skip detention. So advisors will know what that email is about. So now that we set that up, the last thing that we want to do is we want to reschedule any student on that list to the following day so that they have to serve the next day. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click Reschedule to Next Session and click Create Workflow. I have to reschedule this next session after all of these other workflows. If I had the reschedule next session first, that means that all these students would be taken off this list, and then none of these behaviors or messages would be sent to the parents. So I'm going to go ahead and click Schedule cron job, Monday through Friday. I'm going to pick a safe time to reschedule them, so let's say like much later at 4:42, and click Schedule. So let's look at the detention list right now, and we'll see what happens when we reschedule them. So there are 3 students on the list right now who skipped, and now they will automatically be rescheduled at 4:40, whatever it was. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to manually run this workflow. You would not have to manually run this normally. I'll go and click Run. So now those students were taken off this list, and if I look at tomorrow's list, which ends up being Monday's list, today's a Friday, now I can see that these students have been rescheduled, and it even includes their behavior details. So I know there are a lot of steps here, but the most important thing is that the timing is everything when you schedule these workflows. So it needs to make logical sense so that you don't completely reschedule everyone before sending those parent messages.